Here's some standard trombone repertoire. This is a methods book, the Ardens. Also have the Aharoni book, very good book for bass trombone methods.
This one single word can be defined and used
36
in
studies
several
for
different ways.
an attachment trombone or
Webster's
any.
dictionary
Also another
defines
great
literacy
book.
as the quality or state of being literate, especially to read and write. It also defines literacy as the possession of education. I personally define literacy a little bit differently. I define it as the ability to fully understand the world around you. One must have the knowledge about certain topics and ideas and be able to explain them to others in a manner which is understandable. My literacy involves music and the trombone.
The trombone. What a very distinctive instrument. It is one of the most graceful, yet in-your-face instruments found in orchestras, concert bands, jazz bands, and other ensembles. The trombone is in the brass family and is a brass aerophone, simply meaning a brass instrument that takes air or wind to play. The trombone came into existence around the mid-15th century. Composers were starting to write lower pitches, and an instrument was needed to meet these needs. The first trombones were basically enlarged trumpets with a slide instead of valves. The first name of the trombone was trompete sacabute. Translated, this means push-pull trumpet. This comes from the pushing and pulling of the slide to change the pitches. The name was translated differently by different countries. In England, for example, it was known as a sackbut. The Italians simply called it a trombone, and in Germany it was called the passone. I have also heard it called the skidbugle. When the trombone came into existence, it was used mainly in churches. It started to appear in orchestras around the late 18th century. Speaking of which, Beethoven was the first composer in the classical era to include the trombone regularly into his orchestral works. One interesting bit of information about the trombone is it has made the fewest changes in concept since it was invented. There has been the addition of rotors and triggers, but the concept of the slide has remained unchanged. Trombones come in several shapes and sizes. There are soprano trombones, which are basically trombones with a slide. These are played with a trumpet mouthpiece, therefore giving it a trumpet sound. These are not commonly used in orchestras, concert bands, or jazz bands. The next group of trombones are alto trombones. These are generally used for some solo work and in trombone choirs. The most popular and widespread trombone found are the tenor trombones. There are straight or triggerless models, which are found largely in jazz bands, and then there's the models with an F attachment. The bass trombone is the next size of trombone. These are generally the largest trombones used today. Most of these have two triggers. One can also find a valved trombone. These are generally used by trumpet players who do not know the slide positions, yet want to have that trombone sound. Hopefully one can tell that I know a little bit about the trombone. I've been studying the trombone since middle school, all the way through high school, and now into college. All of my teachers at all the levels have inspired me to keep going. The trombone is something I dearly love to do, and I hope to be doing it for the rest of my life.